Hello and welcome to this video on finding industry information. So here we are at the library homepage, and you can get to this from My Hallam by clicking on the links to library, or if you're in Google you can type in Sheffield Hallam Library Home or Sheffield Hallam Library Online, and you should be able to get to this page very quickly. So this is the library homepage. Now, to get to information about industries, the quickest way to get to it is through the subject guides here on the link here on the right hand side. So I'll click on subject guides. So there are subject guides available on every subject that's taught at the university, and you're welcome to look at any of these. These are all available to you, but the one I want to look at specifically today is business management and marketing. So here we go. Under business management and marketing subject guide. If you click on that link, it brings up the subject guide, and this is what it looks like, and you'll find this really helpful right throughout your course. I really do recommend coming back to this page time and again, have a look through it, have a look at all these great resources that are on here. It's so much better than just using Google. You can get so far with Google, and then they'll probably ask you for money if you want to get some really good quality information. But the university is actually subscribed. It spends about £3 million a year on all these great resources, and you can get really great reports on companies and industries that would be very, very costly indeed if you're trying to find that outside the university. So, on the left-hand side over here, you can find information on various types of resources, ebooks, journals, etc., statistics, news information, be very helpful. But what I want to look at in this video is market research. We want to do a bit of market research on a particular industry. So I'll scroll down a bit here, and all these resources here, market research resources, the ones I really want to look at are Marketline, Advantage, Passport and Statista, and I think if you do a good search on those resources, you should come up with some very, very helpful industry reports and country reports as well, country information. So let's have a look at Marketline Advantage to start with. So this is a fantastic resource, very useful for international businesses, international information. So there are two big boxes at the top of the screen. The left hand side is where you type in your research, your keyword. So you tell it what it is that you're actually interested in. So you can type in the name of a company, Nestle, there, or you can type in the name of an industry. So let's look at, we're interested in the confectionery industry. Okay, so before I move on, just want to say it's really crucial that you get the spelling right on here. It's not like Google, in that if you spell the word incorrectly, it's pretty unforgiving, and it'll just come up with poor results or no results, and you'll think, oh well, there's nothing on here. But actually it could be if you spell it with an A, for example, which some people do, but it could suggest that it's wrong because it's underlined here. But if I did a search on that, it would probably come up with no results or very poor results. If you're not sure, if you think that you should be getting better results in a resource like this, it's always best to go to Google and just test it out there. Just if you did this in Google, it would say, oh, did you mean confectionery with an E? And you think, oh, maybe I did. Go back and correct your spelling, and then carry out the research, and you'll get much better results. Okay. I just mentioned that because these databases don't actually correct your spelling for you. They take it at face value. That's what you're looking for, and if it's incorrectly spelled, it'll come back with poor results. So on the right hand side over here in Marketline, this is the name of the database that we're looking at. This is where you tell it what it is that you're looking for. If you don't do this bit, if you just leave it at all research, you'll get a very busy screen indeed with lots of results with all this different information on it, and then you have to pick out the bit that you're interested in. And the much quicker thing to do would be to just single out the type of information that you're looking for and type of research. So you want to do some research on industry profile on confectionery. So let's click on search. We're happy with that. So here we go. So at this point it's brought up 403 analyses or reports, and over here on the left hand side you can limit it to geographies. You can say whereabouts that you're interested in. So let's look at, suppose we're interested in South and Central America. You can narrow things down a bit more. If you click on the little triangle on its side there, just click on that, it'll narrow it down a bit further. Let's have a look. What else can we say there? Supposing we're interested in Brazil, for example, let's click on Show Results. So here we go. There's a report there on the confectionery industry in Brazil. It's June this year, so it's pretty much up to date. And if you want to actually look at it, you can either look at it as a Word document or a PDF document. So let's click on that link there, PDF. It tells you what it is before you look at it. So it's top-line data analysis covering the Brazil confectionery market. It includes market size, segmentation, textual and geographic analysis. Sounds pretty useful for what we're interested in. Macroeconomic information. Let's click on PDF to save it. So it's inviting you to save it. You could save it to your device before you can actually open it, and then it appears at the bottom of the screen. There's a link to it there. It says PDF. You can click on the link. Once you've saved it, you can open it. And if I scroll down a bit, there we are. So it's confectionery in Brazil, June 2020, and it's a Marketline industry profile. So as I was saying earlier, you won't get this kind of quality information on Google. You just won't find that on there. This is what the university pays for. It's experts. It's written by experts, industry experts, and they're putting their predictions there. You've got market volume forecast as well. Forecast a particular volume, kilograms. Talking about the competitive landscape. So you can see there you've got category segmentation, market volume, share, all the sort of information that you might want to know, market segmentation and so on. If you want to look at information about the confectionery industry in this particular country, and there's definitions in here as well. So definitely well worth having a look at that. Okay, so we're happy with that. So I'll come out of here now. Let's scroll to the top. So we've opened up this report. If you want to go back to the search screen in Marketline, let's do that. Click on Marketline. Just click on top left where it says Marketline in green. That'll get you back to the opening screen again. So as well as company information and industry information, you can get country information on here as well. So let's do that. Let's look at Malaysia. Supposing we're interested in Malaysia, and we're interested in a country report this time, because that's also useful for you, I think, to a country profile. See the sort of information you get on here. So this is country analysis, in-depth insights, political, economic, social, technological, etc. Again, if you click on PDF, that will bring up an opportunity for you to save the report, and then you can open it from there. Okay. So that's Marketline Advantage. Well worth having a look at that for industries, country and company information, as it says there. Well worth having a look at that. Just want to have a look at another couple of databases before we finish. I'll look at Passport database, created by Euromonitor, and but it's known as Passport. That's the name of the database. So on this database, we've got the first page of the terms and conditions, and you accept the terms and conditions before you can get into the search screen. So here we are, quite a busy search screen here. You can either type, putting your keywords up there, which is absolutely fine, or look at country reports, data graphics, understanding the market landscape with visualizations of industry, category and geographical data. That sounds good. So where it says country reports, data graphics, you choose your industry, and you're interested in well, we're interested in confectionery, where it says packaged food. Let's click on packaged food, and then under category, then it allows you to go a bit more precise into the sort of industry you're interested in, and we've got here chocolate confectionery, gum, or sugar confectionery. Let's click on sugar confectionery. And then geography, again, you're allowed to choose which area you're interested in. Let's have a look at, we got Europe on here, we should have. Yeah, there we go, here's Europe. So you scroll down till you find, let's look at Norway, for example. Click on go. And it should give you an industry report that Passport has put together on the sugar confectionery in Norway. And I've had a look, and they do have confectionery reports in different countries. They're really up to date. So this is September 2020. We couldn't be much more up to date. So some nice graphs there that you might want to save if you and use in a presentation, for example. That's really helpful. If you want to actually look at the whole report, so there's a download option here. So let's click on download. It's asking you to download the report. Let's download the report. You have to enter your name. So you put your name, you put your academic emails. If you put down your Hallam University email address, so it's going to be something at shu.ac.uk. And again, if you save the results, you can then open them up once you've saved them. And here we got this Passport industry report on sugar confectionery in Norway. So really, some really nice, useful, detailed data there on sales of confectionery by category. Key data findings. Lots of nice, useful little snapshots there, little bits of information will be very useful for your presentation, I'm sure, opportunities and so on. So well worth having a look at those. Let's close that down. That's Passport. So it's a database of international consumer market and country data. Tells you a little bit more about it there. If you click on more, it tells you more about the content of the database. That's what we've been searching. Okay. So the final database I want to have a look at is Statista. So it's about relevant statistics and studies on a particular topic. So we could type in confectionery here, and it will bring up some examples of confectionery markets in various countries, but it's very useful for general statistical information on a particular country. So let's type in Canada, for example, supposing we're interested in that. So here we go, Statista country report on Canada. That comes up pretty near the beginning of your results there. Okay, so for most countries, when you type in the name of the country, near the top of your results there will be a Statista country report on that particular country. You can download the report there. Again, you have to save it, and then you can open it up. And you'll find this really useful, nice overview of the country. Sometimes they're quite lengthy, so they take a bit of time to load up. But when they load up, you'll see lots of really useful information on demographics, consumption and so on. It should be right up to date, so you'll get information on COVID, economic impact of COVID, so really up to date. Something that's well worth having a look at that, so that your research is right up to date. So there we go, some information right at the top there, how Canada can be affected, etc. by COVID. Population, information there about business culture. Well worth having a look at all that. Okay. So I hope you found that useful. So this video has really been about finding industry information on a particular market, in this case the confectionery market, and we went to the subject page from the library homepage. We found the subject page for business management and marketing, went into market research, and then we looked at some of these really good resources here Marketline Advantage, Passport and Statista. So thank you very much for your attention, and I hope you found that useful.